Baldur's Gate 3 has 171,587 lines of dialogue, but you're only going to find a small fraction of those during a normal playthrough. To help with that just a bit, I've dug up 8 examples of rare dialogue that most players never see. And as much as I like showing off scenes that no player could ever see, the content in this video can be reached through unmodded gameplay. And I'm going to show you how. Let's go! If you resolve the conflict between Eredin and Zevlor peacefully, Eredin and his pals will hang out in the grove and tell you about the Night Song if you ask them. But if Zevlor knocks out Eredin, or you knock out Eredin, or Eredin knocks out Zevlor, but not if you knock out Zevlor, Eredin's group will relocate to this spot just over the bridge to the Blighted Village. And many people haven't even seen this conversation, but we're not to the rare part yet. The point of this dialogue is just to tell you about the Night Song since you missed the chance to learn about it in the grove. But if your character is a cleric, you have the opportunity to offer a prayer for his dead comrades. Prior to patch 7, only a few gods were available as options, but now any god you chose for your cleric will have a unique prayer available, with many of them having a unique reaction from Eredin. If I show every single one right now, I know most of you are just going to skip over it, but here's one as an example.
Hard to forget idiots like these. I don't think I'll bother trying. See you on the road, mate.
Even though most players haven't even seen that cleric option at all, that's not even the rarest bit. If you offer a prayer to one of these 3 gods, Eredin will have a bit more of a positive reaction than the rest. But wait, that's still not the really rare part. If you did pray to one of those 3 specific gods, when you find Eredin outside Sorcerer's Sundries in Act 3, as long as you convince him that you don't know where the Night Song is, he has even more unique dialogue depending on which god you prayed to.
I gave your boy Helm a shot, you know. Stopped by a shrine of his. Even offered up a copper. And you know what I got in return? 1 less copper. If she's out there, I tried praying to your fella Tempest, by the way. Down on my knees and everything. Felt like a fool. Still do. If she's out there, I thought about what you said before, by the way. About Tyr. Wondered if I might have missed a trick, not having a god in my corner. But then I started to wonder why I'd worshipped someone who had the power to help people, but chose not to unless they bowed before him.
If Gale somehow manages to get himself killed, his spectral voice will pop up and bore you to death with an excessively long explanation. And that's my job. Pouch, flute, letter, mephit, scroll. But who's got the time to do all that? He did say it's a magma mephit. You still need to open the pouch, but as soon as you get your hands on the scroll, you can just drop it in some lava to skip the whole process. And I don't think Larian expected anyone to ever do this, since they forgot to put in the voice acting. Of course, you don't have to use the True Resurrection scroll to revive Gale, but I felt a bit bad after blowing off his fancy protocol. Speaking of, when Gale dies, the spectral voice tries to talk to whichever party member is closest, but if no one is in range, he'll rattle off the whole process to whoever or whatever happens to wander by.
Best of luck with the protocol. May my cold, dead hands soon be refilled with the warmth of life so they can shake yours in gratitude.
After the first scene with Auntie Ethel in the tea house is finished, Mayrina is given dialogue of her own, but you can't usually see it because trying to talk to her in the lair while the hag is nearby will just start combat. One option is to wait for Ethel to peacefully teleport Mayrina away, then sneak your way down to the lair and free her from the cage. But the better way is to let the hag go to the lair by herself and leave Mayrina behind. How do we do that? If Ethel doesn't teleport Mayrina during the conversation itself, she'll do so right after. Or if you start combat, she'll do it at the beginning of her second turn. Killing Ethel on her first turn doesn't help, since it just triggers Mayrina's usual reaction after you defeat the hag.
You bastard! You ruined it!
But Auntie Ethel can't perform her little disappearing act on Mayrina if she can't see her. Before you walk into the tea house, just toss a potion of invisibility so that it splashes onto Mayrina. If you accidentally walk too far in and start the conversation, that's okay. Just send in a second character to throw the potion. Though don't get too close if that character has Volo's eye. As soon as Mayrina is invisible, attack the hag to start combat, then just skip your turn to give her the chance to run away without Mayrina. Don't dawdle too long in combat though, or the invisibility will wear off from Mayrina since she's not in turn-based mode. If that happens, Auntie Ethel can snatch her just like usual on the way out. Once Ethel is gone, just wait for Mayrina to be visible again and you can talk to her.
Where's the tea house? What's going on? What? But the house? God's this place? What? You can't! She's a hag! Please don't leave me here!
But using this trick also has other advantages, including more unique dialogue after the fight with the hag. Head on into the lair and ignore Auntie Ethel popping up to threaten you. But before we finish off the hag, here's a bonus. If you force Lauren to leave his small mirror room, he gets his own bit of rare dialogue.
No! Ethel! I'm sorry! I'll go back!
There are also supposed to be reaction lines from the party, but they don't play due to a bug.
Dead. Powerful magic at work, surely.
His heart gave out. With a little magical push, I'll wager.
After reaching Ethel's room, you'll see that there's no cage and no Mayrina. And the fight plays out like normal, other than the hag won't turn into Mayrina, of course. Once you bring her health below 20%, she'll beg for mercy as usual, but no Mayrina means no bargain is needed. You can just tell her to give you the hair for free. Grab the wand and take the mushroom circle back to the surface, where we're gonna leave someone behind at the coffin. You'll see why in a minute. Mayrina has a unique reaction that only happens in this specific scenario, where Ethel was defeated in her lair while Mayrina stayed up here.
Ethel's gone, isn't she? I felt it. Awake or asleep, I could hear her, laughing at me, taunting me. Now it's gone.
Though after those first couple lines, the rest of the conversation plays out the same as it does when she knows that the hag killed her brothers. As soon as that dialogue ends, Mayrina will try to walk out of the lair that she's not in before just teleporting straight to Connor's coffin, where you somehow sneak up on her. And don't worry, doing all this will still lead to the same outcome as usual in Act 3, just like you'd saved Mayrina from Ethel the normal way. If you talk to one of the Pennygood siblings while wearing clothes bought from the Okay, first we're going to deal with this little annoyance. You can lure Nobber all the way out to this edge here and then shove him off into the river. But that's still not enough to get rid of him. If you head all the way down to the riverbank, you'll see that he swam to shore and he'll still keep talking.
Hey! It's me, Nobber! Water's mighty brisk today. Nice little impromptu dip there. Good job, I'm a strong swimmer. No drowning for me. Ha ha!
Okay, back to the Pennygoods. If you talk to one of the siblings while wearing an item bought from the other, they will comment on it. Though if it's camp clothing, you need to swap armor sets for them to notice.
I see you're wearing some of my brother's handiwork. If you're interested in something with a bit more life to it, welcome to Calm's Garms.
But Figaro has additional unique lines if you're wearing Carmen's clothes and your character has the urchin background.
Excuse me, beggars and waste are not... Oh, I see. You're not street detritus. You've merely availed yourself of my dear sister's finery. A certain level of class is expected by my clientele. So if you wish to stay, I must insist you purchase some less depressing garments. Yes, how very rude of me. Wearing Carmen's tripe garbs is much worse.
But that's not the only dialogue specific to a certain background. When you reach Act 3, you can ask Minthara about Minzo Boranzan. If you're a drow, she'll be surprised by your question. But if you're also a noble, she will have a couple extra unique lines.
You are of aristocratic blood. I thought as much. But whatever house matron you sprang from, your upbringing cannot compare with mine. I am a Bainray.
And how's this for obscure? First, the setup. If you completely snub Shadowheart and try to leave Act 1 without recruiting her, the mysterious artifact will mysteriously end up in your pocket the next time you try to sleep. Or if you kill Shadowheart in one shot and don't try to loot her, you will have no protection from the artifact when first hearing the voice of the Absolute. This leads to you passing out and waking up in camp, where the prism will also appear when you try to sleep. In either case, if you investigate the artifact, but only if you fail the roll, and you have the sage background, but you're not a Githyanki, you will hear this line.
The glyphs resemble the language of the Githyanki, but the dialect is ancient, unfamiliar.
Some parts of this next one aren't super rare, but I've seen a lot of questions about it, so it deserves a spot in the list. And that's the 3 early camp nights where the companions discuss Ceramorphosis and their hope for a cure. The Night 1 scene isn't rare at all. Just long rest any time before entering the Druid Grove and it'll pop up. Night 2 is also easy to get. It's unlocked by just long resting again after Night 1 or by stepping inside the Grove, since doing that cancels the first night scene. It's the 3rd night that a lot of people miss. The only requirement to trigger it is doing any one of these 3 things. Bullying Zoru to find out where the Githyanki patrol is, hearing Saza mention Priestess Gut whether she's alive or dead, or learning that Halsin was studying the Tadpoles by talking to Nettie. But if it's as easy as that, then why doesn't everyone unlock the scene every time? Because of this river. If you cross it at any point, you will cancel all 3 of the Ceramorphosis camp nights. If you walk over the bridge, wade through the water, hop the broken bridge north of the Blighted Village, or cross over anywhere else, you lose your chance to see this camp dialogue. Astarion's opening lines will change depending on if you're camping out in the wilderness or somewhere inside.
It's quite a sight. The stars, I mean. I could take or leave your chin. I can see the stars from Baldur's Gate, of course, but not with such clarity. It got me thinking, reflecting on what tomorrow might bring. When we arrive at this Gith crash, will we find out how to bring the worm under control? Will this little adventure of ours be over?
Do you mind? I was rather enjoying my view of the ceiling.
I'll forgive you. I'm mostly just thinking anyway. Reflecting on what tomorrow might bring when we meet this goblin priestess. Will she know how to bring the worm under control?
Lae'zel is meant to have a starting line unique to camping in a cave. But instead of checking if you're inside one of the 2 cave camps, the game checks if you're inside both of them, at the same time. Here's what her opening line would have been.
Gulek. Sleeping in a cave reminds me of my adolescence in Kresh Kalea. I was hungry to face my first Geich. My sword pined for their blood. Would that I were doing battle up there, among the tears.
With at least 5 approval and a little tadpoling, you can do some flirting with Shadowheart, though it doesn't have any later effect on her romance.
She is serious. Even she seems surprised. She's attracted to you, but you sense more. A warm swell of embarrassment.
Huh. A little comfort and company doesn't sound bad. But let's take care of our problem first. Rest well.
Gale is the one companion that doesn't have a new conversation on this night, just his normal dialogue.
The weave.
And that brings us to Wyll. If you've already triggered this camp night during a playthrough, what you probably saw when talking to Wyll was this.
A tingle runs through your head and down to your feet.
Ah, there it is. That shiver. Our little brainworms have made fast friends, it would seem. How do you feel?
But that is not his Night 3 dialogue. It's his post-recruitment dialogue, which will replace Night 3 if you haven't already seen it before you reach this point. But activating that post-recruitment scene before Night 3 is surprisingly unlikely. First, you'd need to long rest after recruiting Wyll, but before meeting one of the Night 3 requirements like talking to Zoru, who's around 20 meters away. But also, Wyll's night scene has fairly low priority, meaning it can be overridden by various other camp scenes, such as Astarion biting you during the night, which doesn't even happen until after you go to sleep. And since that Wyll conversation expires after only one night, if anything else takes its place, you miss your chance to see it before it replaces his Night 3 dialogue. But wait, there's still one more issue. If you recruit Wyll while your party is full and tell him to take the place of one of your current party members, the proper flag is not set to unlock that post-recruitment scene at all, even if you do everything else right. And on top of all that, you'd be missing the chance to see Wyll's Night 2 dialogue, which is much more interesting. So do yourself a favor and go for that one in your own playthrough and let me show you his brief Night 3 scene right here.
This might sound presumptuous, but I hope we stay allies once we're cured. Friends it is. When your storms gather and lightning strikes, I'll come calling. Now, let's rest. I wager tomorrow'll be a big day. Maybe is better than no last I checked. I'll take it. Now, let's rest. Then I hope the road rises to meet you wherever it leads. Now.
Though he does have extra unique lines if you're playing as Astarion, Lae'zel, or Karlach, even though she couldn't ever meet the requirements to see these lines.
This might sound presumptuous, but I hope we stay allies once we're cured. Oh, Astarion. I bet I'd find a touch of sweet under all that sour if I dig deep enough. So deep, in fact, that I'd probably need more than one shovel. A shame. A warrior of your merits could cleanse the coast of its monsters and still have time to hunt supper. I hope the Queen values the treasure she has in you. I'm glad to hear that, Karlach. Who would have thought my prey might become a good partner instead? Now, let's rest.
And speaking of Karlach, what about her Ceramorphosis night scenes? Well, there's a problem. Karlach is standing on the other side of the river, so crossing over to recruit her will cancel all 3 nights, meaning there's no way to see any of her dialogue. I'm just kidding, of course there's a way. More than one way. But the method for seeing Night 2 and 3 is pretty silly, and Night 1 is completely absurd. So if you don't care how to do it and just want to see the dialogue, go ahead and skip to the next chapter. For Night 2 and 3, just take the usual shortcut through the grove to reach Karlach without needing to cross the river. To recruit her, it is possible to walk very carefully right to this spot, which will get you in range to trigger Karlach's recruitment conversation without crossing the line that cancels the night scenes, though you won't know if you walked too far until it's too late. If you do try it this way, make sure your party is full so that you can tell Karlach to go straight to camp. If she takes an empty spot and joins the party right now, she'll already be standing across the line, ruining the whole plan. So the safer method is to make Karlach come to us. Sadly, she doesn't seem to care too much about cats. But if you have Mage Hand handy, that will do the trick. Summons don't count for crossing the invisible river line, so just cast the hand next to Karlach and use it to click and drag her backpack across the log. As soon as she picks up the pack, click on her to begin her recruitment dialogue. But if you don't have Wyll in your party when you recruit Karlach, he will confront her in camp the next night, regardless of if you already recruited him or not. And that camp scene is one of the highest priority in the game, overriding nearly anything else, including the Ceramorphosis Nights. So if you want to see those scenes with Karlach, make sure you bring Wyll along when you recruit her. Okay, but how are we supposed to recruit Karlach before the first night if entering the grove cancels that scene and crossing the river cancels all three? Well, put on your best jumping boots and head to this spot, conveniently marked with Edwin's corpse. From here, you're gonna need a character with at least 12 strength, conveniently covered by either Shadowheart or Lae'zel. You also need to cast Enhance Leap on your jumper, which Gale can have available, or just use Lae'zel's Githyanki Racial. Then jump up onto this ledge and follow it until you reach this spot, where you may want to enter turn-based mode to preserve your buff time while lining up these next jumps. You see, the edge of the grove is right here, which gives you just enough room to jump to this ledge without entering the grove. Don't go any farther or you'll step over the line and ruin this whole goofy trick. The last jump needs to land all the way over here, which is why you needed 12 strength in the first place. If you have at least 16 strength, you may be tempted to make the jump from back here without getting near the grove line, but don't do that. If you jump from that angle, you'll clip through the corner of the river line right as you pass this point. From your landing spot, you can head over to grab the waypoint and bring in the rest of the party before heading back to Karlach. So just recruit her the same way as before, right? Well, remember, if Wyll isn't in your party when you recruit Karlach, he'll show up in camp replacing the Ceramorphosis Night scene, which expires after a single long rest. And Wyll is currently standing right in the middle of the grove, so there's no way to recruit him without stepping inside. Okay, there is a way, but it's so ridiculous that I'm not even going to try to explain it. We do have one trick left, though you're probably not going to like it. Another way to get Karlach across the river is to attack and kill her, then resurrect her nearby. Just let her come to you, since even if she dies in her starting spot, a resurrection scroll has enough range to reach her. If Karlach is killed before you recruit Wyll, not only will he not confront her in camp, he will disappear from the grove, never to be seen again. So yep, that means you have to decide between recruiting Wyll and seeing this one Karlach dialogue. In case you don't think the trade-off is worth it, I'll show you all 3 of her night scenes right now.
Haven't gone camping since I was a little girl. Very exciting. So no campfire songs and ghost stories for old Karlach? Damn, I thought I was out of the hells. Guess you can't have it all. To be honest, a fire, a bit of nature, and a bedroll of my own is more than enough. More than I thought I'd ever have. If I turn into a mind flayer tomorrow, I'll at least have gone out on a high note. Damn straight we are. I've got a lot of living to do, and I'm gonna need my horn for most of it. Guess we ought to rest up, eh, soldier? If today's been any indication, tomorrow's gonna keep us on our toes. Gods, my bed looks so good I could cry. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the lemurs bite. Hear that? Well, I'm certainly part of it. The breeze, the fire, and the big stupid head. I love it here. So much. This camp. Faerun. Toriel. The material plane. Paradise. You can keep it. I'd rather live for myself in this heaven than live for someone else in another. I've got everything I need in abundance, right here. Including my favorite thing. Too bad. It's grass. perfect, soft grave hair. Heaven between the toes. Granted, this isn't the world's best spot for grassing, but I've taken my opportunities where I could. My mum used to call it that. Said to tread with care, because every blade might have been fed by someone important to someone. Damn, I'm so fucking happy to be back! Even if this place, this moment, isn't your idea of heaven, believe me, it could be a gixillion times worse. Hey, soldier. You surprised me. For the best, I suppose. I was getting a little lost. So, bear with me. I have had this old friend. Really old. She must have been around 140 by the time I met her. Eventine Grants was her name. Halfling. Ran the bakery in my neighborhood in the outer city. Went in for a fresh seed loaf once, only to find her sitting on a stool with her head in her hands. I asked if she was all right. I will be, she said. Just tending to my garden of sadness. Things have got rather overgrown. I was just a kid, but I knew what she meant. I thought about it a lot while I was in the hells. As glad as I am to be free, Avernus is in me still. Less of a garden and more of a, I don't know, a pit. But when I try and look inside, I can't feel anything. The future. I foresee sunny days. Lots of them. A little place in the city. And more adventures with the likes of you. And you know what? That feels good. Thanks for lending me your ear, soldier. I'll unbend it now. But I appreciate it.
If you successfully free the tieflings and gnomes from Moonrise Prison, Wulbren will always lead the group as the captain of the ship. But let's say something unfortunate happens to him during the escape. In that case, Leah will take over as leader.
Right, boat's good to go. Or as good as it can get, at least. This curse doesn't stretch much further than the shore. We'll hide out on the water, plan our next move from there. Fair. You've done more than your share. I can take it from here. But listen, heard the guards in a tizzy over something big. An army. Whatever these assholes are up to, it isn't good. Get out, and soon.
If she doesn't make it to the boat, then her brother Cal will fill in.
All I want to do is lie down and sleep for a 10-day. But we're not safe yet. We'll get this thing onto the water, far from the curse, and plan our next move. If El Terrell has taught me one thing, it's that there's always a way out. Thank you for everything.
Though if you told Roland to take off back in the Grove, neither sibling will be in the prison, which leaves Lacrissa as next in line.
The boat's good to go. At least I think it is. I'm no sailor. Or strategist, to be honest. My plan is to stick to the water, stay clear of the curse until I think of something better. True, I'm pushing my luck just standing here. But I can't leave without a warning. I heard whispers inside of something big. An army. Do what you have to here, and then scarper. Please.
But what if Lacrissa got up to take a walk and tripped and fell in her campfire? In that case, Danis becomes the boat leader.
We're ready. At least, I think we are. Not like we have somewhere to go, but the water seems safe from the curse. For now, anyway. True. Anywhere is better than here. But I can't leave without saying this. Something big is going on in Moonrise. I heard whispers of something. An army. Do what you have to here, and then leave. Soon.
If Danis also has some sort of accident in the Grove, Nimble the gnome will take charge of the prison escape.
I'm no sailor, but I've prepped the boat as best I can. I don't know this hellscape. We can hide out from the curse on the water, I guess. True. Who knows what could come charging out of Moonrise next? Thank you. The Iron Hands will remember this.
And if somehow everyone else is gone, Nichols will take the boat all on his own.
The boat calls. The thought of leaving the comfort of stone makes my heart pound. But I have no choice. The curse touches every part of this land. Only the water is safe. An unhappy prospect. Indeed. If I'm meant to survive, then I will. But know this. The stone in Moonrise screams. Something evil is here. You should leave while you can.
The two hyenas that are part of Flynn's gang have speak with animals dialogue, but you can't exactly talk to them right now while they're hostile. After telling Flynn to go eat the two Zents in the cave, her pack turns friendly, which would be your opportunity to talk to the hyenas once the fight is over. But as soon as you join them in the cave, Flynn will spot you and start her own conversation, with the only options being combat or telling the whole group to leave. So, instead of running into the cave with your pet pal, send in a decoy character first to distract Flynn. Then you can waltz in and have a chat with both of the pups.
Hey you! Come closer. Yeah, like that. Hey? I was gonna bite ya, but you're a quick one, huh? Good. Wanna bite ya? Sink the teeth deep. Yeah.
If you fail the check, or you try to keep your distance, the group will go hostile.
Yeah. Now I'm close enough to rip you open.
Though because your first character is already talking to Flynn, the action will immediately switch to their conversation, giving you the chance to dismiss the gnolls without a fight. The male hyena has several different reactions based on which race you say you are, but he'll always want a taste of your meat, leading to combat.
Hey! Hi! You're here! What are you then? Oh, soft meat! That's what I thought. I want the meat. Can't help it. We gotta eat. Better run, better get, or it'll be you. Short meat. Yeah, that's good. I want the meat. Can't help it. Grey meat. Tastes like earth. Tastes like pain. I want the meat. Cursed meat. Warm meat. I want the meat. Tough meat. I want to chew down to the bones. I want the meat.
The only way to avoid the male hyena going hostile, other than just leaving, is to pass the deception roll to convince him you're a god.
Oh, holy, good holy, we follow ye Nagu holy. He makes us hungry, always hungry. Stomach hurts, your stomach always hurts.
When most players enter the mountain pass, the first thing they're going to do is talk to Esther to get their hands on her powerful items. But if you go nab the blood of Lathander and trigger the destruction of the creche before you've ever met her, she has unique dialogue.
Did you see that? The entire building rubble. I bet it took the creche too. This is a disaster. I was here on business before it was blown to Mount Celestia. I needed a Githyanki egg. Contractual business. That Blas probably left it as a rather messy scramble. It's for the Society of Brilliance. Clever lot, but they're convinced they can raise a Githyanki child to be good. Alas, I shall have to search for that egg elsewhere now. Oh, gods no. Please. I needed a Githyanki egg. How uncouth! You've rather scuppered a project I was working on. I needed a Githyanki egg.
Though it seems like they didn't plan for this scenario very well, since she goes right back to asking if you found the egg. If y'all actually want to see the full list of every cleric prayer with Eredin, let me know and I'll make a video. But for now, thanks for watching.